up, ninjas? My name is Sam World and I'm in music production and sound design videos for dance music here on YouTube. Now in today's video, we're going to be looking at different types of business techno bass lines, essentially the stuff most people want to hear. It's a joke, don't worry guys, you don't gotta go typing all mad now. Now we can debate some of these are bass lines or just big massive black kick. Now if you're watching this video, that means you want to be a better music producer, and if you're looking for amazing tips, make sure to subscribe to this channel. If you only watch one, how good are you gonna get? So make sure to subscribe so you can get to all of them and become a better musician / sound designer. And as always guys, if you want to support my YouTube channel, make sure to head over to evilsounds.com where you can find all of my sound design work. If you're into techno, check out the Paradox series. Paradox Volume 3 is finally out, and Paradox Volume 1 and 2 have been used by the likes of Umic, Hardwell, Joyhauser, Sam Wolf, the list goes on. Make sure to check them out, and other than that, let's get straight into this video. The blob kick. I really don't know what to call this kind of kick, but I will say it reminds me of a big room kick, and in all honesty, a lot of us like to hate on big room house, but you know, if any of you guys watch Pokemon, there's evolution. I feel like as a human you evolve, and I think big room house evolved into what we know as techno today. So a lot of times we're just making fun of ourselves. But this is going to be a very massive kick. It's super cool, and the theory behind creating this kind of kick is usually going to start with a sine wave. Now, the way I'm going to teach you guys how to do this is a little easier because Ableton has the 808 core kit, which is pretty much the 808 kick, which is sine bass with a bit of pitch modulation. That's how you get the click on it, right? So by default, this kind of click is going to sound something like this. And when people think of the 808 kick, they think of the boom, 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 boom. But in all honesty, you make it sound that way with a lot of saturation, and we're going to be doing the exact same thing. So once we have this guy, the idea of this is you're going to saturate it as much as you can. I like to use an oscilloscope. I've been using a new one, and this video is not sponsored by them, called Shoals Audio. Now the reason for this is I want to make sure that I can hear it and I can see it, okay? So with this, we can see how long the kick is, right? So from there, I can increase the decay time and I can get to where I want. Okay, so here we're just saturating the kick. We have an ample amount of decay time, and from there we have the tone, which is going to set the key of the kick. Once we have this, pretty much we have something that sounds like this, right? Now from here, this is where it gets interesting and where it starts to get a little bit more like, okay, this is where like, okay, it's just not a saturator. Number one, I like to use LFO tool to really shape the kick. And as you can see, there's going to be this little gap that I'm leaving in here to stick something in. As a dude, that's what all I'm about. So we're going to stick in a top kick, right? But the idea is we're going to do this, and then we're going to shape the kick, because as you can see, there is the kick never reaches 0 or an infinite dB, right? That's silence. That's silence. So with the LFO tool, pretty much what I'm trying to do is shape the kick because it never reaches that end. So we're just going to do that. Now, the reason we want to hear the end is, as I tell people, if you want to smack and if you want something strong, you always have to go, like Drake says, 0 to 100 real quick, okay? That's the way you get power. There needs to be contrast, in essence, in the dynamics of going from negative infinite dB to 0 dB. So that's what we're going to be doing that. We're going to increase this move. Now, this doesn't sound all that good, and I get it, but the low end, you can say, sounds badass. So from there, I do apply a bit of EQ to this, and the reason for that we're doing this kind of EQ is, again, just to make sure that we're cleaning up the highs. I'm going to come in with a transient and then just trying my best. Now, when working with kicks, I heavily recommend that you guys do not do a low cut. We've seen it a lot where you do something like this, and now it sounds like a fart. Taco Bell sponsored this video, but no, we don't want to do this because the time, as soon as you start doing this, you're messing with the timing, the phase of the frequencies around the cut. When you do this very brick wall cut, which is a brick wall again, because no one's going to get over that. So it's just a big brick wall. There's no grips. You can't really climb it, maybe with a rope. But again, it really sounds bad because you're just messing with the phase of the kick. So never do that. Want to maintain firm feet mass, I say in Spanish. Okay, so once I have that again, I'm just cutting down here because I really want the kick to sound like that. So from there, we go on to the transient. Now, for this transient, I am using a transient from a pack that I released at evilsounds.com. Again, that's my sample pack link. And I did a collab with an artist by the name of Martin Karma. Very cool guy, has really amazing music. Should check him out. And pretty much he supplied these kicks for me where they're kind of spread out. And I'm just using one of the transients from there. So just a click, you know. Now, a lot of these clicks are just made with top kicks, like the kick, you grab the thing and then you process further with saturation or distortion. That's maybe for another video. But from there, I grabbed this one and pretty much just saturated the crap out of it to get that. And in fact, I'll show you guys how I do it. So from here, I'm very, you know, I want to be aware of the phase of it. So what we're going to do is this. Sounds like this. Now there's a little bit of work that we need to do with it, obviously, right? So what I'm going to do is, again, saturate it heavily, maybe overdrive it. Again, we're separating the low end out, so there's no reason this shouldn't work. And once I have that, I'm going to EQ the low end. And then from there, we can shape with the LFO tool. Then from there, we hear it together. Now, usually hearing a kick like this, sometimes you can feel a little, so we're just going to put in some drums. So that's going to be a little bit of the theory of creating the blob kicks. Now, the last thing I'll say is if you're kind of questioning what key it's in, which is very important, just grab a bell EQ and go to the peak of the low end. So we're going to have it here. And then from there, we can kind of see it's around E, I believe, maybe F. So I think it's going to be F. So from there, if you have a synth like this. Okay, so from here, it's time to talk about the rumble kick. Now, the rumble kick is probably the more popular bass that you're going to hear in techno, business techno at the moment. So in order to do this, I'm going to be utilizing these 2-layer kicks. Again, the click is going to be coming from the previous kick. So it's going to sound like this, a normal kick layer. Okay, so now assuming that we have something decent, what's the theory behind creating the rumble? Well, back then it was putting reverb, utilizing an audio effect rack, etc. And we're still going to do the same thing, but now it's going to be a little bit cooler because we have access to a new reverb inside of Ableton called the hybrid reverb, which is probably going to be the one that you're going to find yourself using the most, okay? So in order to do this, we're going to utilize an audio effect rack. The main reason for that is that I want to create return channels, but I want to make sure it's here so I can see everything. So I'm going to click here, list mode. I'm going to create 2 channels. One of them is going to be the original main kick, which is going to be this. And then from there, we're going to have the reverb one, which is going to be our bass for this one. Okay. So what we're going to do here is just utilize a hybrid reverb. We're just going to go reverbs here, hybrid, and set that up. Now, I really like the hybrid reverb, and I'm super fan of it because I swear, I think this reverb, Ableton just wanted to please the techno guys with it. One, you're going to have convolution reverb and then decent normal reverb that we can utilize in order to create something. Now, convolution, pretty much, think of it as someone going into a church saying, wow, the reverb sounds good in here. I'm going to record it and sample it and put it into this thing that's going to give me a reverb similar to it. That's all it is. So from there, we're going to have a blend that goes from 0/100. To the right is going to be the normal reverb, and to the left, you're just going to have pure convolution, and then you can do a mixture of both. The other cool thing and reason why I'm saying this was made for techno producers is because there's a bass mono button, which I find super useful, and there is a stereo knob for the reverb as well. And then the EQ has also been amped up. So what I'm going to do is move the EQ low pass to the left, and then we're going to have this in this channel. And just using convolution right now, this is how it sounds like. That's not too bad. I love the sound of that. So we're going to move to the left and use the low pass. Now, here, again, I'm going to use the Schultz audio again. Main reason is that I want to kind of be theoretical about creating kicks. There is a bit of creativity when it comes to kicks, but you also have to be theoretical and understand the theory so that you don't mess it up. So the reason I'm doing that is because in the bass, I'm going to have one. And then I'm also going to have one on the main kick. That way I'm going to have my kick, as you can see, rumbler 1 and 2. Bottom is the kick, top is my rumble. Very important because I want to get the values right. So from here, let's find one that sounds good. Again, I'm just going through the different rooms that have been sampled for the convolution reverb. Sounds pretty good, actually. Let's assume we like this one now. I'm gonna put it all down the center. Okay, now with this and the kick, it just sounds great. I love this damn reverb. And if you're the type of guy that likes a little bit of top end in the rumble, but this is great. And then from there, start while still my bass is being put in mono. This is why I love the hybrid reverb. So good. Now, assuming you're like, yeah, that's cool, but anybody can pick that. Let's go 50-50. Okay, so right here, now you can see this has become a fucking jumble mess. Now, this is why it's very important for us to go into the oscilloscope, okay? Now, here's what I'm going to do. Number one is I know this needs to last a certain amount, so I want to figure out how much. I'm going to right-click and do this. And at the bottom right, you can see it's 451.7 seconds. However, there needs to be a pre-delay to allow the click through. I don't want the reverb muddying that up, even though I'm going to have essentially what I like a sidechain. I can say, okay, we need a pre-delay of at least, as you can see, 58.9. So we're going to put 58.9. And now you can see here, we don't have anything because of the pre-delay. The problem is the reverb is too big and it's just becoming a mess. So this is where we get theoretical. Again, we know this needs to last about probably like 356 milliseconds. So the good thing is on the top right here, we have the time. So what we can do is maybe lower down the decay a bit. And then I wish there was a way to get rid of this low pass. Maybe that. And you can see how much cleaner it is. I still haven't executed a sidechain, but I'm being super clean about this. Again, I still have a second, so maybe this guy can get decreased on the decayer size a bit. Okay, now this sounds, yeah. Now let's hear with some drum. Okay, so from there, I am still going to put a sidechain because I'm not liking the way that's sounding, so we're going to do that. And then from there, I can use that same LFO tool maybe on the main kick. And then from there, playing around with the reverb more, maybe the stereo at 100. Okay, so from there, I do want to process this a little bit more just to make it pushed. And again, we're going to do this cleanly. So we're going to use the drum bus. Now, the reason I'm using the drum bus is because there's a really cool feature that you can utilize if you want to put a key to the rumble, and that is going to be the boom section. And this is one of the reasons why I made this video, because this is very clutch. The boom is going to be sort of like an R bass. It's going to generate low end for this, and I can set the key I want it to. So for instance, if I want to be in the key of G, click there. I can bring in a boom. Now, we do have to lower the volume because it's getting really distorted. Now, assuming that you kind of like something like that, then we can start to put an EQ8 and vice versa. Now, if you don't want the rumble bass to have a key and you want to do the traditional way, of course, all you really have to do is increase the drive, the crunch, or put an amp, and then make sure you clean up the highs. And then from there, the cool thing again is that convolution is just so decent. Man, you can do so much good stuff with that, guy. So don't sleep on it. Check out the hybrid reverb. This is a new way to do rumbles. On Paradox Volume 3, I did put kick racks for you guys. And in those kick racks, I utilized the group out of the hybrid reverb. Super sick. Try it out yourself and check it out. Finally, the last bass I want to talk about in this video is going to be the rolling bass. Now, there is another bass I kind of wanted to talk about, which is more of a dark techno high-low kind of bass, but I made a video about that, which you can check out again, maybe in the card that should pop out. Again, there's various different types of bass lines to do, guys, and you can have essentially these type main basses while still having rumble kicks. Again, just make sure you do your due diligence and make sure to mix it properly. Now, the last bass I want to talk about is the rolling bass. Now, I made another video about rolling basses, which got some good views, but also a little bit of criticism, which is kind of funny because eventually techno just went to sound like trance. So a lot of people are using the standard rolling bass lines. However, in this video, I want to show you guys the execution of using a rolling bass line with a rumble, which is the last bass that we're going to be talking about. Okay, now, in order to execute these kind of basses, number one, you need to get rid of low end. And number two, you're going to be able to have a lot more fun because this rolling bass is not there to provide, again, it's not going to be there to provide low end. It's more of a thing to make the track sound like it's driving and going a lot faster. So if you're making stuff like Space 92 or UMIC, this is probably going to be around the ballpark. So again, I can go a little lenient. I don't have to use my RM phase at 0, but if I want to follow that theory, you can. And the reason we do that again is we're going to set up here a rolling bass. Now, if the rumble doesn't have a sort of boom added to it to give it a key, then you can really dictate or set the key with the rolling bass. So we're going to go here with G3. Hopefully it sounds good. We'll see what's up. Okay, we're going to add an envelope here and open this up with the envelope. And again, I'm getting rid of low end mainly because we already have been low end supplied by the rumble, and we got to respect that. And again, here all I'm doing is allowing the rumble to have that low end, but I'm still trying to get the bass heard. So maybe open it up a bit more. Now, the reason we set the RM phase all the way down is because when you have a synth, sometimes you're allowing the phase to start anywhere in the saw. Pretty much, again, phase is timing. So if I put this down, I'm always starting in the same position, which means a strong bass constantly hitting. However, if I put this up, you can see how it moves around a lot. Now, of course, this is not a bad thing. It's just preference. With sidetrans basses or rolling basses, you always want power. Now, if you don't mind that and you like that, then from there we can put a bit of unison to make this sound wide, which makes it sound like a trance bass, of course. But again, a lot of big room business techno tracks are utilizing this as a way to create drive in the track. And it's super cool because now we can do this. And then we have the track. And then the cool thing is you can start to play around with change over time. So what I mean by that is we can have maybe like a down sample on it that is occurring at a very slow rate. And also, if you have Serum, it's one of the strongest synths out there because it's a wavetable synth. And the point of wavetable synths is to be able to change the wavetable position. So that's something cool that you can also experiment with. And again, the rolling bass is just there to provide that driving feel, because at the end of the day, if we get rid of it, we still have that. Now, if you want to learn more about rolling bass lines, there are videos that I've made before, which I will leave in the card section of this video for you guys to check out. And as always, make sure to subscribe so that you can get access to these videos. They're there for you for free. The way that I make money with my YouTube videos mainly is going to be from the sales of the sound bank. So again, if you want to support the channel and allow me to do this as a way to teach you for free and then get amazing sounds at the same time, make sure to go to evilsounds.com to check it out. But with that being said, guys, our time has run out. There's a lot of other basses out there, I'm pretty sure. So if you have any tutorial suggestions on any interesting basses you've heard out there in the techno world, make sure to leave them down in the comments down below as a suggestion, and who knows, maybe I'll do it as a short or as a full-out video depending on what's needed. Other than that, I appreciate you guys for joining me today. Hopefully you learned some really cool stuff, some new stuff, or a bit of review for you, and I'll catch you guys next time for another video. You guys take care and much love.